Weird time jump. Posted by, That's Debatable. I had just come home from a long day at work and I was hungry and tired. I put some leftovers in the oven and booted up my computer to play some video games while I waited for them to heat up. Right as it was booting up, I blinked and I was on my couch and had just woken up. My clock said it was 11 p.m. The leftovers were gone, the dishes were away, and I was full. My computer was off, and when I touched it, the monitor was cool, meaning it hadn't been on for a while. Last time I had looked at the clock, it was 7 p.m. 4 hours of my life, and I don't even know what happened. Spooks me to this day. I might have met my future husband? Posted by Aisling. So this happened a few years ago. It's pretty short, but fairly interesting. Basically, I was walking into a restaurant with my mom when an old man waiting outside approached me, going in to hug me. Obviously, my mom was like, "Sir, what the hell?" So he backed off, but smiled at me knowingly and said something along the lines of, "I'll see you eventually." I later saw him with an older woman in the restaurant who really did look like me in 50 years. Was this a glitch? Or just a creepy old man? No idea. I glitched? Posted by Frankesium A. I guess that would be right. That I glitched. That morning I had woken with a splitting headache. My house of 5 was unusually quiet as I left to walk to classes. I lived a 7-minute walk to my school, but I was running late, so I had to run through the dew-filled field, getting my shoes and jeans soaked. I got there in time and sat at my desk in homeroom. That weird 10 minutes before class, so your teachers can send the office a list of who's there and who's absent. I had a last name at the beginning of the alphabet, so my desk was directly in front of my teacher. Mr. R always had a way of cheering me up. So then he saw me sit down in a funk. He played his funny video on the smartboard to cheer me up. We had block scheduling. So after homeroom, we would be in a class for 80-ish minutes. Towards the end of class, I kept feeling my phone buzz and buzz constantly. My parents were freaking out because apparently the school told them I was absent. But I very clearly was here. I responded with a picture of Miss Lindbergh teaching. Halfway through my next period, my English teacher got a call. "Hello, yes? I don't think I saw her. Sarah? Has anyone seen her?" She now speaks to our class. Every half-awake teenage classmate looks around but says nothing. I am dead-ass dumbfounded. I'm staring directly at her as she scans the room, and I raise my hand. I genuinely think this is a prank. I follow up with, "I'm right here." And finally, I'm seen. She just says, "Oh, there she is. I almost missed her." It was almost as if I popped out of nowhere. They call me to the office where my parents and homeroom teacher are. My mom is losing it. Apparently, on top of not being in school, I wasn't at a dentist appointment that I was supposed to go to before school. So everyone thought I was abducted. I was a goody-goody then, so skipping class wouldn't make sense. I responded to your text. I sent you a picture of class. No, you did not. I go to check my phone. No message sent. I look at my teacher like, what the heck? Maybe he accidentally marked me absent, causing all of this. But he says he never even saw me. And apparently, Miss Lindbergh didn't either, then asked. My parents had texted my friends who I passed in the hallway, all said they didn't know where I was. I was like a walking ghost. Weird. Book glitched its way back home. Posted by Cito EXE. Most glitchy thing up till now happened to me and girlfriend yesterday. We're still baffled. A month ago, me and my girlfriend spent our holidays in France. We rented a nice little cottage and settled in for the week. We brought a book that was special to us, and I can clearly remember taking it out of my backpack when we arrived there. My girlfriend took the book and placed it into the drawer next to the bed, which she also clearly remembers. Eventually, we were so busy with the outdoors that we didn't have time to read the book, so it stayed in the drawer during the whole holiday. Time came to leave the cottage, and we were already short on minutes as we had to get to the next place in time, so we rushed a bit during packing. You can guess what happens next. At the next place, we discover that we forgot the book. We immediately send a message to the hostess asking if she could look for the book. Alas, new guests had already arrived, so she would take a look next weekend. Next weekend, no book. We're bummed out because it was dear to us and kind of an antiquity. Now, this is the part where we both freaked out. We get back home from the holidays. I take a cheeky look inside the drawer in which the book is always kept, and it's there. The book is actually in the drawer. How is this even possible? Did timelines overlap? Did we never take the book in our own timeline but experienced a different timeline in France? Still gives me shivers. We are both 100% sure that we both had held the book in the cottage. TLDR, we brought a book on holidays, 100% certain. We forgot it in the cottage, but it somehow popped up back home. The Disappearing Couch, posted by Liquid Pixels. This happened to me and my roommate in our freshman year in college. I was dating a guy at the time and he had come over to visit one night. My roommate goes to take a shower to leave us alone and left her keys behind. Side note, all the dormitory doors automatically lock when you shut them. Boyfriend and I, not knowing she left her keys, figure we don't want to be rude with PDA, so we leave for the basement common area, which around this time of night is almost completely empty. We're down there for probably 3 hours just chatting on the couch, taking selfies and shooting pool before his ride comes to get him. I walk him to the door, and before keying into our floor, I see one of my friends who tells me my roommate has been looking all over for me. She tells me that my roommate locked herself out of our room and had to call the RA with the emergency phone in the lobby. I'm worried that she's pissed and quickly make my way to our room. Yeah, she was furious at me for leaving and essentially locking her out. We argue for a while and she tells me that she walked all over the lobby, the basement common room, and outside to find me, dressed only in her bathrobe. I stop her. If she checked the basement, she would have found us immediately on the couch by the pool table. She gets angrier and tells me that I must be lying since there is no couch in the basement common room. We go back and forth until finally I convince her to come downstairs. I'd be happy to show her the green and brown couch that I was sitting on no more than an hour or so ago. Well, you guessed it, no couch. But oddly enough, I found the snacks trash that my boyfriend and I had left behind in the wastebasket right next to the space that should have been a couch. I'm rightly confused and text the boyfriend who sent me the selfies of us together on that couch. I show the roommate and we both realize something is seriously up. Not only did she pass through the basement a few times and we weren't there, but neither was the couch. Still thinks it's a glitch in the Matrix to this day. Update. I did not expect much from this post. Thank you. I have reached out to the friend, the boyfriend, and the roommate to see if they have any photos of that basement or from that night. In the meantime, I did pull photos of my dorm building from the university website, and there are indeed sofas that are exactly the same. They'll update when I have more information. Update number 2. Hey kids. After asking my friends from my freshman year and the boyfriend for a photo of the couch, I turned up with no lead. It was very awkward asking the ex, just as an aside. So I started scouring for photos of the dormitory on the old Google machine, and lo and behold, I found the couch. This looks almost exactly like the one we were sitting on, but the coloring is not quite the green and brown I remember. It matches the chairs also pictured. Ugly, just as I remembered. Enjoy! I love the theories, by the way. MultiDimensional Place or something. Posted by Christ344. In the summer of 2001, I was in a large Midwestern city. A huge storm was coming in, and I remember the reports saying it was going to be a bad one. So later that evening, this storm arrives, and I look up and I swear I see this big, huge ship hiding in the clouds. The whole cloud system was very round and circular. That event started a series of events that took place over the next week to 10 days. One night, there was a large UFO, like a smaller craft from the larger one, was hovering over an area near my apartment. 2 helicopters soon approached it and it took off. I started to question my sanity. I ended up telling a friend, so we go out one night, on like Thursday night at 9 p.m. or so, and there were almost no vehicles on the road. Interstates were like completely absent of any traffic. We go by this big billboard which was advertising these various lectures with titles like The Human Genome, The Next Evolution, Human Reproduction, Saving the Planet While Preserving Humanity. It felt weird, like the sites were meant for not humans, and they were all like this crash course on aspects of human development. At this point, we are both freaking. We pull over on a side street to just process things, and then we turned back on the same road, which was suddenly filled with traffic again. Interstate, just like it should be. The signs were no longer up. Or they were, but now it was just normal like advertising, a book signing, and more standard fare. For years, I have felt I had a temporary break with sanity, and the only thing that keeps me turning the events over is that there was another witness to some of it. And just a few years ago, I brought it up to her, and she assured me she experienced the same thing, and that it also still freaked her out. We both described later feeling we were somewhere we weren't supposed to be. I described it to her like some sort of staging area or something. That's what happened. I'm sure there's a rational explanation for it, but after 20 years, I've never been able to find one. There was even more to it, and it involved triangle-shaped UFOs that seemed to be following my vehicle on more than one occasion. It was honestly a living nightmare for a while. For about 5 years after, I was obsessed with the experience. Over time, I've sort of just chalked it up to temporary insanity or collective delusion. I got there before he did, but my reality is not his. Posted by Sorceress Jink. The other night, my boyfriend Liam spent the night. I, 30, woke up at 3 a.m. to my son crying. Unusual only because he always sleeps through the night, but I didn't think much of it. I left Liam in my bed and went to get my son back to sleep and said I'd be right back. I didn't mean to, but fell asleep with him. So to understand the glitch, let me provide what normally happens. Liam stays over every single night, then leaves around 6 a.m. to go to his house to get ready for work. We work together, so this works out great for both of us. This is every day, so this is what I was expecting. When I fell asleep in my son's room, I didn't bring my phone, so I had no alarm. Next thing I know, I wake up because Liam was standing in the doorway of my son's room in his very recognizable work clothes. I knew I was late because the sun was coming up. I rolled out of my son's bed and said, "Shit, I'm late." I said a few things about, "Wow, I can't believe I slept this long," as I walked to him, all without him saying a word. And I gave him a hug. I never opened the bedroom door. And I know I saw him as soon as I opened my eyes. I knew he was in his work clothes, which he never brings to my house. And I knew this and saw this while I was still in bed. I hugged him in the doorway, and I'm sure of it. I was confused as to why he was dressed like that, and he told me he left my house at 4 a.m. because he couldn't sleep. He didn't want to wake me, so he went home. I had no idea of this when I first woke up. Later that day around lunchtime, I was explaining to him how rushed and annoyed I was, that I was late. In that conversation, Liam stopped me and said, "No, you came out of your room and I was on the other side of the house. You walked me all the way to the living room without talking." But I was talking. He wasn't talking. I said that's just not possible, because I know I saw you in the doorway after opening the door. I saw him in his work clothes while I was still in bed. I know I did. And I woke up because he was looking at me. He said he was on his way to do that, on his way to open the door. But before he get through the living room and past the kitchen, he saw me walking through my son's open door to him without saying a word, and I walked all the way to him in the living room. I asked if my son's door was closed when he got back, and he said yes. I know for sure I never opened that door. Neither did he in his reality. I told him I have a hard time believing his memory of how it was, because I know what I saw, and he said the same. He knows how the events played out to him. We both came to accept that both of our realities are true. This has happened before, where he has seen me pull up to his house after him. He's sure of it, but I've been waiting inside for him after he saw me. It dawned on me that maybe we are living multiple threads of existence. My threads and his sometimes leak over and merge. I felt it. And I looked at him while trying to figure out how we both saw and experienced different mornings and other times different sequences of events that we are both absolutely sure of. I told him, "You were meant to get to the door and open it to wake me up. And in my thread of reality, you were. That moment was supposed to happen, but I got there before he did.